This weekend just passed. I was in the mountains running a men's retreat called The Dangerous Man. It's about helping men to work through shame, process shadow, get connected to the darker parts of their masculinity, dealing with the complex relationships they have to other men and the women in their lives. It's powerful stuff. But while I was listening to a few men talk about painful relationship breakups and others discussing traumas around dating in general, something I'd always known at the back of my mind became abundantly clear. How much pain you feel after a breakup or after a rejection when you approach a woman is heavily determined by something that's in many ways a bit paradoxical. It's largely determined by the integrity we bring to that interaction. Now, if that sounds strange to you, then you're not alone. It's a bit alien to most people, so let's talk about it. So I should start by having a bit of a talk about what integrity is. Because for most of us, we think of integrity as something that's linked to morality. But that's not really the definition of integrity that I'm focused on. Here are some definitions of integrity I found online. Forget having moral principles. Instead, think of integrity as the state of being whole and undivided, or the condition of being unified or sound of construction, or internal consistency. These are the definitions of integrity that resonate most strongly for me. The way I say it when I'm doing men's work is that a man's word is law. You express yourself as you truly are at all times. You say what you do, and you do what you say. You don't allow mixed signals, and you stay true to yourself. When you have integrity as a man, here are some of the features that should start to stand out about you. You don't mince words. You say what you mean without trying to mask it with pretty words. You aren't trying to convey a version of yourself that's friendlier, kinder, or nicer than you really are. You respect your boundaries, wants, and needs as a man without shame or doubt. You don't lie to others about your intent. Even more importantly than that, you don't lie to yourself about your intent. You don't apologize for your existence. In relationships, men typically lose their integrity in a variety of ways. They'll put up with bad behavior from a woman for much longer than is reasonable. They'll allow their boundaries to consistently get pushed and violated without leaving the relationship. They'll overextend to please their partners. They'll mask their frustrations, saying everything is okay. They'll belittle themselves in the attempt to keep the woman around. They'll give up on their hobbies and dreams to align with her wants and needs. Then, when that woman leaves them, they're struck hard by the pain of all that lost integrity they were letting go of in the hopes of keeping the woman close. It's this pain of lost integrity that's the cause of the lion's share of most post-relationship pain that men go through. It's easy to get caught blaming her for pushing your boundaries or behaving badly, but ultimately we allowed that to happen. And I have to be honest, women rarely start treating you like rubbish overnight. It's a slow build-up to the worst behaviors that ultimately occur toward the end of a relationship. And that poor behavior should have been dealt with when it was still just a minor annoyance. I was with my ex for 12 years. 6 years into the relationship, I'm sad to say that I had sacrificed a lot of my integrity. We split up for 6 months, and when she left me, I was angry. I was enraged. I was outraged. I struggled to let go of the unfairness of it all. It didn't feel like a healthy grief. It felt like poison pouring through my veins. I was hurt, and I was mad. This is how many men feel after breakups. They mourn all the integrity sacrifice they made, which they shouldn't have. And the resentment is just overwhelming. The second 6 years of my relationship with my ex after we got back together, I lived with a lot more integrity. I respected my wants and needs and boundaries. I was willing to walk away if she didn't behave appropriately. And I didn't just say it, I meant it. And she could feel it. I said what I meant, and I meant what I said. I won't pretend I pulled this off perfectly all the time, but it was a drastic shift from when I was a younger man in a relationship with the same woman. When we split up 18 months ago, I grieved. I cried. I was sad. Of course I was. I mean, 12 years is a long time. But it felt different. It felt healthy. I didn't feel like less of a man. I wasn't angry and resentful. I was just letting go of something that wasn't meant to be. The breakup still hurt, but nothing compared to that first time, because I didn't lose my integrity along the way. By the way, guys, if you're liking this video so far, don't forget to let me know by giving me a thumbs up and leaving a comment below. That helps me out a ton. This same concept applies to approaching women as well. I consistently see men breaking integrity when they approach women in bars. They mask what they want, they hide from what they're feeling, they smile too much or laugh too much, they're too eager to please rather than wait to be pleased, they forgive dumb things she says or does in the first few minutes and they kind of just hang in there. They pretend to be interested in what she's saying even when it's boring. They approach women that they aren't even attracted to because they want attention, so they pretend to be attracted to her. And when we lose our integrity in these ways and she still rejects us, it hurts a lot more than it needs to, because as well as the feeling of being rejected, we feel a sense of frustration that we overextended and gave too much away, and she didn't deserve all that attempt to please her. And you're right, she didn't, but you elected to give it anyway. Have you ever seen a guy approach a girl he isn't even that attracted to at a bar or a party? And the anger and frustration he felt when he still got rejected by her is largely fueled by an obvious lack of integrity. He gave it away and she still shot him down. Despite what you may think, that's on his shoulders, not hers. I've seen many times over the decades, if you approach a woman and you don't create a fake reason for talking to her, you don't hide your attraction from her, and at the same time, you smile when she deserves you to smile at her, you laugh when she deserves you to laugh at her, you give her a compliment when she's earned it, you disagree with her when she says something you disagree with, and you're willing to walk away if she isn't interested in you or if she just ticks you off as a person. You won't feel so bad if you get rejected. Because the whole way through, you held on to your integrity. Sure, you'll wish you had more success, but the resentment and frustration many men also experience, which adds to the pain, simply won't be there. When men approach with integrity, they're far more resilient to rejection, and they overcome their approach anxiety much more easily than the men who constantly lose their integrity around attractive women. In short, we hugely underestimate how much our self-esteem gets damaged whenever we lose integrity. And the biggest kicker of it all is this. When you keep your integrity as a man in relationships, your partners will be less likely to want to leave you. Sometimes your integrity will frustrate them, but in the long term, they'll respect you and desire you more than they otherwise would have, because your integrity is more important than their frustrations. When you keep your integrity when approaching women, they'll be more likely to want you to hang around them than when you were working so hard to please them and losing your integrity because of it. Keeping your integrity as a man isn't always easy, but for most men, when I first meet them, there isn't even an awareness of how strongly our integrity plays when it comes to our self-esteems with women and the pain we suffer in the face of rejection. I hope this has given you something to think about more deeply. I personally love having paradigm shifts in the way I look at things, so here's hoping that you do too. In the meantime, take care, and I'll see you in my next video.